What's up, losers?
Welcome to the Kool-aid Kids. Today on the Kool-aid Kids, on this illustrious episode, number trace, we are gonna disclose and talk about our top 5 favorite movies. Rob, how good did you do? Did you get a whole list of 5?
I got a whole list of 5.
Okay, I got a list of 7. That's as much as I can whittle it down. I had 15 and I whittled it down as much as I can. But 3, we talked about this a little bit before. I'm gonna lump 3 of them into one because they essentially, to me, are just in a chain. You know what I mean? So.
Cool, I'm gonna do that too.
Okay, cool. All right, so we cheated ever so slightly. So our top under 10 favorite movies. So let's just start with you. Is this in any particular order?
I'm gonna go from 5 down to 1.
Okay, but is it
Countdown.
is it in a particular order, like 5 being your least favorite of the 5 and then number 1 being your favorite?
Yeah.
Mine's in no particular order. So,
Okay.
so Rob, number 5.
Number 5. 3 movies.
Oh man, right out the gate.
The original Star Wars, the original 3.
I'll buy that as like it's like a part 1, 2, and 3 of a movie, or part 4, 5, and 6. Right?
It's like the Lord of the Rings. If you can watch it back to back to back, and like, you know,
much like Lord of the Rings, it's backwards too.
Yeah.
Like timeline wise, it's backwards. Where it's the first 3 are actually the last 3, and then the first 3 after that.
Are we sure, though, that Star Wars is actually, like, backwards, man? Because what if part of George Lucas's genius, and now Disney can take credit for it? I think your phone's tilting. Yes!
Our video camera has tilted.
Hi, losers!
I don't think it'll tilt no more, Rob.
Okay, cool.
Good enough.
All right.
It's still recording.
That's good.
Whatever.
We'll edit that part out, maybe. Maybe. If it's too much work, leave it in. So, Star Wars is like in another dimension, man. So how do we know in that dimension of Star Wars that time is linear at all?
I thought it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Well,
I consider that another dimension. If it's a tangible place.
Star Wars, that's fair. That's fair. So,
But you can watch all 3 movies back to back, so it's safe to say time is linear in that particular lore.
should I start with my 3? Okay, I'm just going to start with like my 3 picks that I'm going to just kind of lump into one. There's 3 movies here, and they're all of equal gravitas to me. They Live, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness, because they're all John Carpenter films.
All right.
And John Carpenter, for me, is a deep love. It's a John Carpenter's fan's love is very different from that of a Square.
Is it as deep a love as Ice Cube's Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the music, the themes, like the hopeless, dark themes, like, because They Live, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, but aliens have been running the planet for a bit now, and they have us all kind of with media and everything that we are fed. We're all under a little bit, kind of asleep and a little bit under hypnosis, so we don't see what's actually saying. Everything that we see is superimposed by their signal. Well, a dude finds a set of glasses that interrupt that signal.
Neat.
Yeah, so and it's Roddy Piper. If you're into that, it's super
Even
cool.
better.
He's got a mullet. He's got a flannel shirt with the open chest, and he's got acid wash jeans and work boots, which is a look that I stole for at least 7 years.
Tim Armstrong just recently stole that image.
Back when I was buff, that's like how I looked, before just old age and treachery just left it, just turned it all to goo.
I think we should just tell people we're still buff and other people maybe believe it.
I'm a bigger dude, but I am not nearly what I was. So yeah, those things. The Prince of Darkness is really cool too because it really talks on the subatomics and how the reality and just like the physics that operate subatomics would be completely foreign to us because it's really not the way that time operates. Basically, reality, conscious reality breaks down on a subatomic scale. But anyway,
sure, yeah, I know all about that. Yeah,
this is what introduced me to that, and then obviously I got into it a little bit. But I actually have a friend that we have great discussions about this. But this is the thing, though. Is that basically it opens with a dead priest and there's like a key on his chest as the nun walks in, and anyways this kid there's another Catholic priest visiting him at this like forgotten like LA, I'm assuming Southern California church.
He was visiting a kid?
No, he was he was visiting this priest because this priest had sent for him.
Okay.
And he discovers that this priest was the keeper of a very dark secret, and the fact that they had the child of the devil that had been locked for 1,000,000 years in this tube, right? It was this tube, and then it had metal clasps in there, and there was this goo that was floating back upside down. It was pouring upside down and stuff onto the ceiling, so it was drip dropping onto the ceiling. Anyways, it could control the things around it, so all the little things, the crazy homeless people, it could control them, and ants and bugs and stuff like that. Anyways, it's the devil, and then it tries to, it's the son of the devil, and it tries to bring the devil into our world using math, and they kind of break down science. Jesus is an alien in it.
Wait, so the devil wants you to be smart?
No, the devil is anti-God. It's the mirror image of whatever deity. This was the polar opposite. So it's trying to get back into the world because it was imprisoned millions of years ago. Jesus is an alien in this movie that came to us to warn us about it and teach us math and teach us so we can combat it. But there's also, whenever you're in proximity to this object, somebody from the future is using tachyons to manipulate your dreams. So they're sending you a video signal that you can only subconsciously register because it's traveling backward in time. So anytime you sleep anywhere near this, you have the same dream, and it's the opening of this church, and it's this thing with robes doing this behind light, and it's just a silhouette.
This sounds like an acid trip.
It's an amazing movie.
But it also it's kind of ironic though that Jesus is bringing math and science to everybody and
Well, Jesus was an alien, and he was because they have this Bible. There's this tome that's with this thing, and there's 5 different languages over it. It's just written over. It's just copy written over copy written over copy, and it's a bunch of math equations.
Could you imagine if the real Jesus did that, man? It would totally combat all the logic of everything he said in that book, man.
Yeah, well, anybody, any culture. It would make sense, because any culture that encounters somebody from another culture that's more advanced than theirs. Imagine, we go back in time and we find our caveman forefathers and we show them a Bic lighter. They're going to think we're God.
Wait, how did you do that just now?
They're going to think that they're probably going to think that you're a deity of some sorts. If say someone, here and use science to levitate, we would all be freaking out.
I still freak out when I see David Blaine do it and Chris Angel.
Sorry if I seem giggity and overly excited, but John Carpenter movies pump me up. The other one is In the Mouth of Madness, where there is a horror writer, much it's written by Stephen King, but a horror writer, much like Stephen King, who becomes so popular and his work becomes so read, he becomes God. People believe in him so much that he becomes God, and he's in a very Lovecraftian way summons all these elder gods from a different dimension into our universe.
Man, it's like L. Ron Hubbard. That's cool.
But it's told from the perspective of a character within one of the books that he wrote. But the guy doesn't know that he's a fictional character. He just thinks it's just his life. but the book dictates everything that happens to him, and it's crazy time.
So does Mr. God there? Does he correct people and say, "I'm not God," or does he just kind of?
No, he knows it, and he's super evil.
That's most of us.
He's crazy evil. Anyways, a lot of these weird gloom and doom. The music too was really what drew it to me, and I'm talking like if you had to list the musical influence, and I think I did on our first episode. John Carpenter is like at the top of that list because it's super simple in music that invokes emotion, just very basically, and it gets you at the core. And he does it with like synthesizers because he couldn't afford or didn't want to put out the money to like hire an orchestra to like record these pieces of music that he made. So he just did it on the cheap with like synthesizers in a studio in like a garage somewhere.
I love that.
It's super good. And John Carpenter's of Halloween fame. He did the original movie Halloween, and he did the music for it too. The dun, 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 you know, like little
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, but okay, so that's like my 3 John Carpenter films, kind of all around the one. He's going backwards, so it would be number 4. What is your number 4 pick?
Tommy Boy with David Spade and the great Chris Farley.
Oh yeah, well, dude, that's good stuff.
I don't know anything about that movie except for I love it though.
It makes like so much sense that you like that movie.
I had some because I'm fat, but
this coffee is fabulous. He gave me coffee when I came over, which is much needed. So
super happy to do it, man. Coffee is an awesome social stimulant.
So that's it. Tommy Boy, we're just laying it out there.
I know a cool Chris Farley fact. He pooped out of a window for a very low amount of money when he was working on Saturday Night Live.
I'm also really not surprised. Like, none of that is shocking.
But that's really cool, too.
That is cool.
It is super cool.
Okay, these are in no particular order, so it doesn't matter.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and say if somebody sends us a video of them doing that, pooping out of a window, doesn't have to be a solid bowel movement. I'm going to put that in the running for a Cool Runnings picture.
If you send that to me, I will delete it.
Send it to me.
Yeah, send it to Rob. We're going to get Rob... Hold off at least for an episode. We're going to get Rob his own email, so when he makes these crazy requests, they're going to go straight to him. Yeah. I'm still, just for the moment, still kind of the gatekeeper on this show, so I'm just going to save you guys from that. But there's going to come a point where that's not going to be the case. So,
yeah.
And then Rob can just let it.
Lowell promised to let me off my chain or off my leash eventually.
All right, so you did Tommy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Great Chris Farley, David Spade movie. I actually got to watch. I watched the new David Spade movie, the Wrong Missy movie.
Oh yeah. I watched that.
It's exactly what you'd expect from a Happy. I think that's probably a Happy Madison movie. I would imagine that's probably.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you expect. It's good, but I mean, it's not like life-changing or anything like that. It's just a typical rom-com, as they call it.
Happy Gilmore, it's not up there with that. For sure.
Yeah, but, you know, those were almost like archetype movies now. Like
the early Sandler flicks were awesome. They were funny.
Oh, they were. Oh, God, like Happy Gilmore. That one's good.
What was the other one?
There's a bunch of, like, peripheral movies that were really like Grandma's Boy was super cool.
What's the one where he was like a rich kid?
That was Happy Gilmore. No, that was Happy Gilmore. The golf one where he's a hockey player that played golf. Billy Madison.
That was awesome. Yeah, I gotta tell you though, like I'm not knocking Sandler, but I watched some of his stand up from when I don't know if he's still doing it, but wasn't really like
it wasn't earth shattering.
No.
I think it was everything else that he did. He kind of made it. I think
his music,
his albums. I think his albums really, for me, were what I remember because I actually had those albums.
Yeah,
you know, like there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's bedtime. Here's a little nighttime story for you if you're listening in the evening. Back in the day when we were coming up, 90s, 2000s, it was very chic. There was a lot of comedians that put out records of funny songs, or even like the Jerky Boys, man. Like those records were classic too. But it's just like Adam Sandler put out a bunch. There's another guy named Stephen Lynch I remember put out a bunch. Tenacious D
Yeah.
really started kicking off.
The funniest group out of all of those was Boys to Men.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's pretty funny.
They're pretty good.
You better leave the Backstreet Boys out of it. All right.
Why would I involve the best band ever? Why? Why
Good.
would I knock that?
Well put. We got to move down this list though, because we are going to. This could run really
Are
long.
you trying to say you want it that way?
No. Shut up, dude.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I guess my next pick, Princess Bride.
Oh man, awesome movie.
There is so many like themes that the Princess Bride instilled on me. It was almost the cool thing about a Princess Bride is it introduces you to really, especially young kids, it introduces them to very complex social constructs, but also really instills a sense of what honor is, what revenge is, and when and how like, it instills the concept that like, revenge can eat you up inside. Like if you hate someone so much and it just your whole life is dedicated to destroying them, where that can take you. You know, it introduces like class system. You know, and how Andre the Giant.
I know, second pro wrestler in your choice of movies, dude.
I like pro wrestling. I watched it much as a child. Not so much like as I got older, though I still did. Like I remember SmackDown. I watched SmackDown, dude.
Like Monday Night Raw, dude.
I just kind of drifted away from it, you know, because you know there were such giants of pro wrestling in my life, in my lifetime. You know, rest in peace, you noble Randy Savage. You know, you know, like Macho Man Randy Savage. Hey there, brother. You know, like, oh, I love him. I dressed up for him as Halloween a couple years ago.
Dude, you remember that Chris Benoit thing?
Mhm.
Oh man, that was messed up.
But I mean, it's like of our time, like Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan,
The Rock, Stone Cold Steve
Oh,
Austin,
Stone Cold.
The Undertaker, Kane,
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, Mankind. You remember?
X-Pac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Mankind.
You remember?
He had the
sock puppet, yeah.
and he put it down his pants and shoved it in somebody's mouth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mick Foley, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's so good. But love, true love. It introduces the Princess Bride introduces the concept of true love.
Dude, when Kat and I got married, I asked my sister, because she was like what do you call him, like the aficionado. I asked her if she would do the scene from The Princess Bride when she was like,
Marriage.
Marriage, yeah, what one got together.
The Six-Fingered Man. That's Christopher Guest, dude. That's Christopher Guest, the Six-Fingered Man. Indigo Montoya. I love movies of that era because the characters are so memorable and like quirky, and they're just super ingrained in the kids that watch them, like Willow, like Mad Mardigan. You know, that's just great names, cool characters. You know, like a swashbuckling. Yeah, he was a swashbuckler. I mean, like you can't really call him anything else. He was a swashbuckler.
I know a guy that is exactly like, what was his name? Was it Fezzik, the little guy?
Yeah.
I know a guy in real life exactly like Fezzik. Sounds like him. Does this kind of stuff. Inconceivable. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you who it is off camera, though.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to throw anyone under the bus.
Stir the pot.
All right, so we're going to have to push this along. Number trace for Rob McNeil here. What is it?
Go ahead and clump 3 and 2 together this time, because I believe all of his films in some way connect. But Django Unchained and Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Tarantino films.
Dude, yeah.
Well, but man, you know,
I don't like anything he does, though, because you
never watched a Tarantino movie that I just like. I don't like that. I was like,
Yeah.
I like them all, and I like, Reservoir of Dogs is big for me.
That was rad.
Pulp Fiction.
Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill movies. Super good. I know people.
Hateful Eight.
Oh, you're jumping over Jackie Brown, dude.
I'm not jumping over it. Yeah, man. My favorite thing about Tarantino films is like he just never. I don't know about now, but for the longest time, did not buy into that Hollywood scene. Drove around a Geo Metro. Like Geos were never cool. They were never rad. The coolest thing about them is they're easy to work on and they get like 1,000,000 miles to the gallon. Yeah. But like they're just kind of a suck car, man. They're not great. And he just drove one around forever, and you just can't take Tarantino out of a film. Like, it's so obviously him.
Oh, yeah, dude. Hateful Eight, I really dug. My dad, I love my dad. He's the coolest dude I know. Does not like Tarantino movies, and I tell him every time, you are dumb. Like,
yeah. Oh, no. What does he not like about him?
Oh, gosh. He's just... There comes a time when, and I've done everything, like, as you get older, you'll start noticing you kind of get locked into things, and, like, anything outside of that, like, peripheral that you kind of establish for your life, it's just like, oh, that's dumb because I don't understand it. My dad's a cinephile, too. My dad is the kind of guy that, the reason I love movies so much is because of my father. Oh. Like, he exposed me to really kick-ass movies. When I was a kid, like movies that I was probably too young to watch, but there was a lot of really cool stuff. And like when he read me books, he didn't read me like kids' books. He would either read me what he was reading, but like he did like, he read me like Count of Monte Cristo and like all these or Jack London novels. He wrote me a lot of those. And the first book I tried to tackle myself, I read the kiddie version of it. I was probably like 5. And it was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, I read the kids' version of it. I'm like, this is stupid. So I just bother my dad. I'm like, dude, I want to read the real one. He said, okay, whatever. So he gives me the real copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Blew my mind. Just blew my mind.
Neat.
And then, like, I started going, like, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Count of Monte Cristo, Moby Dick. Man, Moby Dick's my jam. Like, there's just it's so thematic. But, getting way off topic here.
That's all right, man.
I love Tarantino movies, and yeah, I think there is like a continuity to his universe. There is. I know at least the first movies. What was the Nazi killing one?
Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, the Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds, a good flick.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Lots of like that German dude that you see in a lot of movies. I can't remember his name, but he's super good in everything I see him.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was in Django Unchained. He was the dentist.
Hey, so, never mind. I forgot.
It'll happen.
So, what's your next flick there, man?
Okay, I'm just crossing them off as they go. Man, this is hard to pick. Oh, Enemy Mine.
Oh, shoot, man, yeah.
With, Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr.
That's Swamp Monster.
Oh, it was an alien.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah, there were swamp monsters and stuff. Yeah. It's just if you haven't seen Enemy Mine,
that's a good movie.
Okay, so the intergalactic war between two species, like two species encounter each other in space in the future, and obviously there's war. Both fighting each other, both crash on this deserted, like almost lifeless planet with like very rudimentary life, and they're stuck together. And this world is harsh. There's like meteor showers and blistering cold and harsh conditions. So they fight it out a little bit, but they both kind of figure out that we're stuck here for a good long while, and if we're gonna live, we got to work together. Anyways, they become like super tight. They become like family.
Super best friends.
Yeah, super best friends.
Got matching rings.
Yeah. One teaches they call it Drax. Teaches Dennis Quaid's character his language and teaches him how to speak. Because they've got nothing better to do. So the Drax figures out English and then basically teaches his language to the human. Anyways, turns out down the line a little bit. This is spoiler alert too, definitely, that he asexually reproduces. The alien does, so it becomes pregnant.
Yeah.
That
was a good.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna give you. We're not gonna talk about the ending or anything, but it really kind of shows, like how like war and conflict, this like how like we're and in the end it turns out that both of these societies are just trying, or both of these like species are just trying to survive, and they don't really tell you what happens afterward, but it's a touching movie. It's super well made. Even just the character actors in it are awesome. Yeah. There's not a lot of them, but Louis Gossett Jr. and Randy, or Dennis Quaid. I keep want to say Randy Quaid. He's way off his rocker, but that's a whole other podcast. But yeah, I love it. I watched it when I was very, very young, and it kind of it had an effect on me. Mm-hmm. About even just like, even if you don't like something, just hearing someone out. Because ultimately, whatever, we could go super deep into the minutia of that, but so I think we're at number 2 for you, unless that.
No, I did Django Unchained.
We're doing this all wonky.
I think 3 and 2 should just be like Quentin Tarantino films on my list.
Okay, so what do we get? Number 1 for you?
Number 1 is the Goonies, man.
Oh,
Shot
Goonies.
over here, man. Cannon Beach, at Haystack Rock, Astoria. There were some sets in Los Angeles. We don't need to talk about that. Whatever. Whenever you watch that movie, when you see the look of shock and awe on the kids' faces, just know it's because Spielberg surprised them.
I heard that.
They had no idea.
They didn't want to have any no. They never got to see it before they shot it. It's not the only movie they've done that trick.
Spielberg did it right, man. Like, I don't know how big of a part of that film he was, but
wasn't that a Richard Donner movie?
Could have been. I don't know.
No, the Goonies. I mean,
doesn't matter.
Once again, like ragtag group of kids take on some evil bigger than themselves and prevail through fantasy and just awesome adventure. That movie is just pure adventure. So if you have not seen the Goonies, are you living under a rock? Get up under your crawl, slither from under your rock, and go watch. Like, drop what you're doing, go home, watch the Goonies. Even like, think about it. Josh Brolin, man, he did good. Look at him now, dude. He's in everything. He's Thanos. He's another Marvel character. He's Cable. Like in the Deadpool movies.
Oh, so you're just gonna jump over Corey Feldman?
Yeah, I'm jumping way over Corey Feldman. I went and saw a concert of Corey Feldman's once.
Yes.
All I'm gonna say, good. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It is interesting. It's very interesting. But man, that dude's Crazy City.
I love
20.
I've watched a few of his music videos, man.
I'm not that brave. Tell me about them.
I just feel like they could all be summed up with him crying in a shower, maybe. Pretty gross, plastic girlfriend. How much do you want me to go into that?
That's good enough. I'm good. I'm not going to watch them.
Okay.
All right, so I got 2 more left, so I guess we're just going to do mine.
Let's do yours, man.
Event Horizon.
Sweet.
You seen it?
Maybe. Bad memory bank for movies, gotta tell you. They gotta be super.
Event Horizon's super cool. It was kind of it didn't do well at the box office, but it kind of became a cult hit. So basically, there's a rescue team in the future that have to go out to I think Jupiter or Saturn or something, or Jupiter or Neptune. They go to Neptune, and this missing ship has reappeared in Neptune's orbit. So they go to it, and it was a ship that had a gravity drive. So what it did was it would implode space. So it could travel instantaneously it could fold space, so it could travel from one point of space to the other. So instead of traveling the distance, it would create a black hole, essentially, putting them together for a brief moment and then pass through. Turns out, ship went to hell and comes back alive. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it. He's very good in that. He says some very quotable things.
So many questions.
Oh, it's got Sam Neill in it, and it's super cool.
That sounds super cool. I'm definitely gonna.
Event Horizon. I've watched